Sup, y'all, and welcome to another edition of Press on Sports. I'm Jack Vita. Today's going to be a very fun podcast. I have a former classmate of mine from Valparaiso University. He'll be joining me shortly, and this is a guy that is a big-time Lakers fan, so I know he's got a lot of thoughts on what's going on this summer with free agency. Really, the big story about a week ago, LeBron going over to the Lakers, so I'm sure he's very excited to talk about that. So we'll get his thoughts on that. Also, he competed on American Ninja Warrior last spring, but now American Ninja Warrior is in full swing. It's on right now. So I'm going to get his thoughts on that. He can tell a little bit of his story, and yeah, should be a lot of fun. So without much further ado, here's a great guest. This was a solid, I think this is an A+ job of me on bringing in the guests here, Parker.
I appreciate that, Jack. No, I love the podcast. You guys do a great job with whoever you have on, and you yourself, you're a great host. So I'm very happy and pleased to be a part of it. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much. By the way, let me get that full name in there for everyone. Parker Gatewood.
Yes, there sir. You bet.
And YouTuber too.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. Parker Gatewood on YouTube. General fun videos. I like to have fun, and motivation. Those are the kind of things I tend towards. So that's where you can find me.
Yeah, great. All right. Well, I'll let you. We'll go into that a little more, but we're gonna hit a lot of things today, and I think it's gonna be a lot of fun.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm excited to talk Lakers and Ninja Warrior, and I mean, when you pitched me the topics, it was pretty much everything that I enjoy about life. So it was not hard for me to say, oh yes, absolutely.
So Parker, you are a Lakers fan from Las Vegas, correct?
Correct. Yeah, I was born in Southern Cal, Irvine, California, and we moved to Vegas when I was 4, and I lived my entire life there until I went to college in Valpo.
Yeah, and now you're on the East Coast?
Yes, yeah. Now Orlando, Florida is the spot we're at, and I'm loving it down here. It's tremendous.
Yeah, so you've been everywhere. I think you're wise beyond your years with the amount of experience you've had and all the wisdom you drop in the YouTube videos.
I appreciate that, Jack. Yeah, I just don't, we only get one shot at this thing. So I just feel like experiences are something that, you need to have and be able to take with you, and stories that you can tell other people. And, if you have a way to share yours with others that may up their quality of life and help them get to a spot that's better than where they're at currently, then I think that's what it's all about in this life. And so I'm just trying to do that.
Amen. Great stuff there. So let's get into the Lakers here. You ready?
You got it. Oh, always. Absolutely.
All right, Parker. So I believe it was a week ago today. You probably have the date log somewhere, July 1st. You'll remember exactly where you were when you found out LeBron was going to the Lakers.
I do. Do you want to hear that story?
Yeah.
Okay.
Go for it.
Yeah. I was in my I was just in my living room, and the craziest part about it is, I've had 3 jobs pretty consistently in the past. And so I just, working a lot and all the time is something that I just kind of pride myself on. And so I was just working. I was working on videos and studying for my job. And I didn't even realize actually that it had already happened. I got a text from my friend Fred Villarreal, and he texted me this tweet, and he's like, "It's official." And I just immediately went into freak out mode because I had no idea what I was like. My first thing that came to my mind was, oh my gosh, LeBron James is a Laker. And the second thing that came to my mind was, oh my gosh, everyone else knows before I do. Like, it was so crazy. But then the madness ensued, and I called my dad. We were both elated, and it was amazing. And actually, one of my friends here, one of the guys I'm living with, actually, his name's Caleb. He's a huge Cavs fan, so it was just. But they were away; they were on vacation, so that would have been kind of a funny interaction had he been home. But he was not. So yeah, man, that was crazy and a really great day to be a Laker fan.
Yeah, Parker, I don't know if you've heard of the YouTuber Grady Rains.
Maybe, perhaps.
Okay, he's growing. He's a friend of mine, and he actually is from Akron area, I believe.
Oh, nice.
And he just moved out to LA as he got there maybe like 2 weeks before LeBron did. So,
oh my gosh, that's fantastic.
The irony of it all is pretty great.
Yeah, you can basically follow him his entire way. That's great.
So, all right, yeah. So that how much later was this from when the news broke that you found out?
I want to say it was like a good 20 minutes.
Wow.
Like, no, yeah, it took me. When I tell you I was locked in on what I was doing, I was locked in. Like,
yeah.
And I had been doing it all day. You know, I think typical days for me start around like 5:30 or 6 a.m. But I think this day I was up at like 4:40 and had intentions of just going till about 9:30. So I was locked in on video stuff, and then I get this text, and yeah, like 20 minutes. I was disappointed in myself as a fan. I was like, this is the biggest move in possibly Lakers history. Why was I late to the party?
Especially in this day and age where 20 minutes ago, 15 years ago, well, that's pretty quick. Find something out like that.
It really is. And I'm like someone who always checks my phone all the time, you know, especially like looking at social media content to see how it's doing with people and viewers and all that. So it's, yeah, I mean, LeBron caught me on a day where I wasn't prepared, Jack. That's the problem. I think he owes me an apology, really.
I don't think he owes anyone anything. Yeah, no, at this point.
I'm glad he's here. I'm glad, very glad.
All right, so yeah, I'm sure you had a lot of fun with that, and we'll get into where this roster sits and everything like that. But let me ask you: did your heart sink at all the next day when you found out about Boogie Cousins?
Oh, absolutely. I was traumatized. Why? Like how? You know,
yeah,
it's the Golden State Warriors. They already have one superstar more than the rest of the league. And listen, I know DeMarcus Cousins is not going to be available till February, and then he won't be at 100% for another couple of months probably. But you know, and then it's playoff time, and then you know he has to adjust to the playoff atmosphere, which he's never been in before, except for watching. So all those things considered, like, it's still DeMarcus Cousins. Like,
yeah.
It's still someone that people consider to be the best big man in the league when healthy. So I don't want to hear, you know, he won't help them all that much next year. He just might. You never know. Like, it won't be till later. But yeah, no, I mean, I was hurt by that signing, and especially the fact that he signed for less than $6 million, right?
Oh, yeah.
Like, you're DeMarcus Cousins. What do you do? I know he didn't really have a ton of great offers, but I mean, dang, man, that was rough.
I would have loved to see him go to the Celtics because apparently Boston was second, and my first reaction to LeBron going to the Lakers was, oh my gosh, we could get a Celtics-Lakers final sometime in the next few years. How sick would that be?
It would be really cool. That is now I'll just be honest. I'm fine with the fact that he didn't go to the Celtics just because of that history.
Yeah.
I can't stand the Celtics. I would rather not see them. Although I am a recent fan of Rajon Rondo, so
yeah,
that's awesome. But no, I was okay with him not going to the Celtics. But yeah, no, I mean, it's hard to be okay with anyone of high quality signing with the Warriors, right?
Right. I'm with you on that.
Yeah.
I think it's funny though that you bring up Rondo because it's like he's going on a tour of to become a fan favorite of all the fan bases that he's ticked off over the years.
Right.
He went over the Bulls a couple of years ago with the history when he pushed Kirk Heinrich into the table and all that, and then Bulls fans really rallied behind him, and I'm sure that's gonna be pretty cool with the Lakers fans. You guys are gonna really like him.
Yeah, you know, I'm a really big Rondo fan actually. So when he was with the Celtics, obviously not a huge Rondo fan because he was good and he was on the Celtics, and that's just the way it was. And you know, also his tough attitude is something it's hard when you're the opposition, but as a player, I've always loved Rondo
Oh yeah.
for those things, for being so tough and being, kind of stubborn and just not caring about, other people and all that. So, and actually I read a story, I think it was in Sports Illustrated a long time ago, about Rondo and just how much of like a mathematical genius he was when he was younger, and how it translated to basketball, how he would be like 3 or 4 plays ahead when one else was in the moment. So after that, I kind of gained a much higher respect for Rondo, and then you add everything else that comes with him, like playoff Rondo and all those kinds of things. It's hard not to root for the guy, really.
Yeah, he's a really interesting guy. Another fun fact about him, I remember reading in Sports Illustrated a long time ago, was that he loves roller skating.
Wait, I had no idea about that. Talk to me about that.
He loves, like, a hobby of his ever since he was like in high school, maybe it was since he was a kid, was to go to like roller rinks and just go roller skating with his friends.
What? That's crazy. That's cool though. I mean, he's always been a different guy,
Yeah. He's a guy that I would love to see play in the 80s or 90s because he had that nastiness to him.
Yeah, and like not
Gary
everyone,
Payton.
right, and not everyone could shoot as well as they can now in that era. He would have fit in really well.
Yeah, definitely. So, let me ask you, Parker. You seem pretty positive. You seem pretty confident that LeBron was coming to the Lakers. Is that correct?
Yes. Yeah, I felt really good about it. Absolutely.
Why is that? Because I actually, if you heard me earlier a few weeks ago, I thought he was going to go to Houston because I was looking at it from just a basketball perspective of where is the best chance to win. And I can understand where you may be coming from with a lot of these things with the Lakers and some of those young guys and maybe trading for Kawhi, and I'm sure we'll touch on that. But I was definitely skeptical given the history of what the Lakers have offered to top free agents in past years. Nobody's been interested in coming. So I'm curious, why did you think this was different? What do you think?
Yeah, so the first thing, that's a really good point by you about past history, because leading up to when July 1st came around, that's when I kind of thought started to creep in, like, he might actually not choose the Lakers. And I was thinking it's going to be the Sixers, because that was the only other team that I heard that he had representatives at a meeting with.
Yeah.
So that was the thought behind that. And I was like, that makes sense. They're more built to win now, and then he could still get back to the finals if they, if they beat the Celtics. Right. So that was that. But for the majority of the time, I really felt like LeBron was going to the Lakers, and I heard, I'd heard things about how, his house is in LA and how his family was a part of it, and all these different things. And I thought that at this point in his career, I didn't think LeBron was necessarily worried about a ring chase, because he already has 3, and he has time left in his career that he could take a team that is kind of middle of the road and raise them. He's done that. He did that last year. They just didn't win, right? Like, he took a not a great cast. I mean, they're good players, don't get me wrong, but they're not Warriors good players.
Right, yeah.
Like, not even close. So I thought LeBron was more, worried about brand at this point in his career. Brand, family, and just overall legacy. And I think, what's a better organization than the Los Angeles Lakers to, add to your resume and your legacy, right? I mean,
maybe some would say the Boston Celtics.
Some would say, but some would be wrong. All right, no, I'm just kidding. But I'm not kidding, but I am kidding. So
yeah, I know. I was just poking you at that.
Yeah, absolutely. They got one more title. Okay, it's a fact. You can't get away from it. But yeah. So I mean, I don't know. I think the Los Angeles Lakers are a top 5 brand in sports. I would say they're top 1, but that's biased. So I just thought this made sense. And I'm so glad it did, because I'm going to enjoy watching basketball next year, Jack. It's going to be fun. It would have been more fun had Paul George come, but now we don't need him now. It's fine. He's gone. Like, whatever.
Yeah. Well, I don't want to get into the discussion of if he made the right decision or not, because, as you mentioned, there's so much more to this than a basketball decision of winning and losing. He's clearly a family man. And if I had, let's say I was taking a job, how annoyed would I be if I had millions of people that I don't know telling me I made a mistake with the job I picked?
Right. Yeah, that's true. That's a good point.
I mean, if we want to look at it, okay, and say maybe this isn't the best chance to win, we can say that. But I think a common thing that we do, and this is something I don't blame you for not keeping up with all kinds of sports talk. We see this with people talking about Tim Tebow or whatever it may be, and they're always like, oh, this guy's just doing it wrong. And I know that's so counter to what you do with your YouTube channel of just letting people live their life and do what they want to do.
Yeah, man. I mean, cool, because that's what it's all about, right? It's, this is your life. This is your one shot at it. So why not take every opportunity that you have to better yourself and better your quality of life? And a lot of that is the people that you're around and the mindset that you have going into each day. And so, listen, LeBron James is someone who's been from Cleveland his entire life, Akron, and has really done so much, not just basketball. Like, yeah, he did the ultimate thing. He brought them a title. But, like, think about the kids he's sending to college. Think about the community he's restored, all that. So he's done so much work there. And eventually, even after basketball, if he really wants to move back to Akron, he can move back to Akron.
Yeah.
But for the time being, he probably made the decision of, I want to live in Los Angeles. I have a home in Los Angeles. This will be a great place for my kids who have a really good shot at doing something with basketball to go up in a system that's hard to play. California is a really good basketball state. Like, there's tough competition there. So that's a great opportunity. I'm sure his wife is happy to be living in LA, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
good place to live.
There's a lot to do. So you think about all those things, and yeah, I mean, it makes sense. And that's exactly what I like to portray in my YouTube videos, is that, this life is what you make it, and you can make it the best possible life that you want. It's just a matter of, are you willing to take the necessary steps to get it to where you want to be? Yep.
Yeah, good stuff there. So let's talk about a little bit about this roster and where the Lakers go from here.
Sure.
Yeah, what do you see? What are you thinking? Kawhi is there going to be a move here, a trade made for Kawhi?
I've been really up and down about Kawhi Leonard, because at first it really seemed like it, and then it seemed like, oh no, the Spurs are jerks, and like, no, I'm just kidding. But it's just they're like, we're not going to do anything to help the Lakers get better. It's like, okay, well, at the same time, you haven't done anything to help the Warriors get worse. Like, what are you doing? You're not going to beat the Warriors. The Lakers with Kawhi might not even beat the Warriors, but it's a better chance. So I don't know, man. I would love for Kawhi to be a Los Angeles Laker. The word is that Kawhi just wants to go to LA, no matter where that is. Now, I'll tell you this. If Kawhi Leonard decides, going to the Clippers would be fine, then I think that speaks about Kawhi's intelligence, and it's not as high as it should be, because the Clippers are an awful organization. But that's, again, that's bias.
For another time.
Right, that's a whole nother rant. So I've become more skeptical, and hearing things about trade talks with other teams and all that, I don't think it'll happen this year. Do
you think he's going anywhere this year?
It's hard to fathom, right? Because all of this happening with the injuries and organization saying they want to try to get him there more long term, but he doesn't want to be there. It's really hard to gauge. And you know why a lot of these things are hard to gauge, Jack, and you know this because you've covered sports, is that no one really knows what someone is thinking or feeling except for that person and maybe their significant other.
Yeah.
So it's just you really can't. We don't know what Kawhi thinks and feels. We don't know what Pop thinks and feels. We don't know what the front office thinks and feels. So that's why it's so hard to gauge. I hope Kawhi ends up being a Laker. That would be amazing. But I also know next year's free agency is huge, especially with a guy like Klay Thompson, being a free agent. Michael Thompson's the broadcaster in LA, so that's huge. I mean, I know it would be ridiculous for him to not want to play anywhere except for Golden State because they've done so much there. But if there was a place that would look enticing, it just might be Los Angeles.
Yeah.
So, but Kawhi Leonard, that man, like the rest of the world, to me, he's an enigma.
Yep. Yeah, it's tough to read him. It's been a really weird situation, and it's really tough to tell where he's going to end up. I do, however, think that if the Celtics truly want him, I think he's going to end up as a Celtic. However, what's going on with Kyrie there, we don't know. That's
right.
Also an odd situation. So, really, right now, if I had to guess, I would guess Philly.
Yeah, the thing is, with the Celtics, for at least this is what I'm thinking anyway, they would have to give up so much of a tremendous future that they have already built within the organization. That, like, is it worth it?
Well, you'd be giving up Rozier, who's going to be a free agent next year. So you have to lock up Kyrie. Yep. If you're doing that,
and you'd have to probably give away either Brown or Tatum.
Yeah.
If not both, and they're not giving up
No, it
both.
wouldn't be both. It would be Brown, Rozier, and maybe the Kings pick that they have, which is a lot.
Yeah, and I don't think Danny Ainge, under any circumstance, wants to trade Terry Rozier. That's like, I've seen clips of, like, there was a clip. This is really interesting. I don't know if you saw this, but Terry Rozier was on like a Bleacher Report show or something like that or whatever, and he called Danny Ainge right before they were about to make a pick. They hadn't made this pick. This was live, NBA draft. He calls Danny Ainge. Danny Ainge not only picks up, but then proceeds to tell him who they're going to pick before they actually make the pick. So,
wow.
If that doesn't tell you how much that man likes Terry Rozier, like, I don't know. I'm also a very big Terry Rozier fan, but
Yeah, the other thing with Kyrie is you don't know if he's going to stay healthy, too. So you could be investing in Kawhi, and you don't know what's going to be the status with his quad. So, I don't know. I was initially really liking that as a destination a few weeks ago, and even going back a few months, I had been beating the drum for one day Kawhi is going to be a Celtic, but I'm definitely becoming a lot more skeptical over that.
Yeah, For Laker fans, let's hope not. If it becomes a Sixer, that would be much more favorable, and probably make for a really interesting Eastern Conference Finals.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I would love to see Kawhi in a Laker uniform, if at all, in the future.
Okay, so what's the offer? So you aren't sure if you'd make a trade for him or not?
Yeah, okay, so the proposed trade that kept circulating was something ridiculous, like Kuzma, Ingram, Hart, and like 2 picks. And I'm like, okay, so why don't we just trade away everything, right? Like, Julius Randle's already gone, so let's just give away the rest of our team.
Your boy.
Oh, dude, you know how much I'm a Julius Randle fan. I've been following that dude since junior year of high school. Like, I am huge on that man. Like, it's just,
Do you think the Spurs want the Ball family with them? I don't.
Oh boy, do I think the Spurs want the Ball family with them? I don't know that really anyone wants the Ball family with them. It's a circus. And it died down a little bit towards the end, which was great.
I was wondering if Magic stepped in and said something there. It was like, something's going to happen here. Like, you need to stop.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I hope so. And I hope he would respect that. That would be fantastic. But no, I don't think the Spurs want that. But honestly, I just don't think the Spurs I don't think they want to make the Lakers better in any way.
Yeah.
So honestly, I don't know if that trade does make them better. I don't know who you get right?
Yeah.
Like in free agency, because okay, you have LeBron and Kawhi, that's great. But by the way,
Yeah, what's the rest of the roster that look like that?
yeah, right. I mean, okay, like the Cavs had Kevin Love and LeBron. Now that's way different, Kevin Love and Kawhi Leonard. Let's be clear, but like, okay, so the Lakers still have say they have Kawhi and LeBron, and like have to figure the rest out. The Golden State Warriors still have Kevin Durant, Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, and Draymond Green, and now DeMarcus Cousins. So that's I don't know about you, but that doesn't sound still favorable to me.
No, it doesn't. And I don't want to see Kawhi teamed up with LeBron because you're going to have to stay patient with me here for a second, Parker.
Okay.
But
right.
LeBron may be a little difficult for some guys to play with just because of how ball dominant he is, where if you're playing in Boston, you're playing in Golden State, they're sharing the sugar everywhere, so you're going to get your touches. But LeBron's so ball dominant that you see what happened with Kevin Love, where now you could have whatever opinion you have of Kevin Love, and like you said, he's not Kawhi Leonard. But I don't want to see Kawhi Leonard relegated to the role of second option, because I truly believe when he's healthy, he's one of the top 3 or 4 players in the league.
Yeah, I think most people would agree with you. I think that a lot of people put Kawhi number 2 for a good part of last year, and then coming into this year, definitely. Yep. And then, obviously the injury and everything else happens.
Yeah.
But no, I think you're right on that, because a lot of, Kawhi does the one thing that a lot of stars don't do, and that's he plays defense better than pretty much everyone. So, and when you think about, like, they're like, who's the best two-way player in the game? And the common names that come up are Kawhi, Jimmy Butler, and Klay Thompson. But Klay Thompson doesn't have the offensive package that Kawhi has. So that's what, elevates him in that regard. But it's, I mean, I would like to have Kawhi. I think that LeBron and I think it's just hard for me to think that someone won't work with LeBron, I mean,
yeah, it is.
It's because LeBron works with everyone. Now, they may not get along behind the scenes sometimes.
Yeah.
But, I mean, overall, LeBron's pretty much shown that you can give that man, a deck of cards and a soda to play with, and like he'll make it work somehow. I just don't, so I don't know, but we'll see.
One last Laker question, and then we can talk a little bit about some of these other things happening around the league, and then we'll get into the American Ninja Warrior stuff. So as the roster sits right now, let's say there's no Kawhi trade.
Okay.
Where do you think they go in terms of shaping up the rest of this roster, and what are reasonable expectations for the Lakers coming into the 2018 to 2019 season? Hard to believe we're already almost in 2019.
Yeah, I know, that's crazy, and especially with it's right around the corner. I guess October's coming up.
Yeah.
So that's weird. But yeah, I mean, well, you see the roster you have right now, and honestly, with the roster that is right now, and then you add LeBron James to it, it's really exciting for me, at least, because this was a team that excited Laker fans last year when they didn't really have much, right? And so, you just the thought of having like a starting five of Lonzo, Kyle Kuzma, LeBron James, like Brandon Ingram, and then whoever you want to put at center. I don't know what the status of Brook Lopez is. I'll be honest on that one, but that would have been great if that fifth spot could have been Julius Randle. But that's
Brook Lopez actually a few hours ago signed with the Bucks.
Oh, fantastic! Okay, I was always with Brook Lopez because he's like he doesn't rebound, like he shoots from wherever. That's cool, but yeah, I don't know.
He's like the opposite of his brother.
Yeah, they're very different players, and they always.
And I would rather have Robin right now.
Yeah, no, I think you would be. Yeah, I think you might be right in saying that, honestly. And we, what's crazy is we probably would have said differently, like years ago, right?
Yeah.
But, I'm actually. So I pulled up the Lakers roster. Oh yeah, okay. So they signed KCP, so that was great.
Yes.
I think that the thing that dramatically has changed is bench depth. Because they got Hart still, Josh Hart, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, They they brought in Lance Stevenson. That's something we could talk about, but probably better for our health if we don't.
Well, this is an interesting roster, Parker, because this isn't the best 3-point shooting team. If you have Rondo, Lonzo, LeBron, Lance, it'll be interesting to watch.
Yeah, and I just remember that 5 spot will probably now be filled by JaVale McGee. So,
yes,
there is that. I would rather see Zubats, Ivica Zubats. He's young and upcoming. I would rather see him start and get time, but JaVale McGee is proven, and he just won a ring, so probably I would assume that would happen. But yeah, then you got Rondo on the bench, you got KCP on the bench, like Josh Hart. It's it's decent. And
so where's this team going? Where in the West does it finish?
Oh, well, obviously playoffs, no doubt. I mean, a LeBron James team is not going to miss the playoffs.
Okay.
And honestly, I thought this team without LeBron, with another year of experience, would have been pretty close to the 8 seed this year. So,
who falls out?
Well, the Nuggets are getting better. You know what I was thinking about?
Nuggets didn't make it either.
Yeah, right. But so I'm saying they were a team that could have been in though.
Yep.
Yeah. Who was the 8? The Warriors played the
Timberwolves were the 8.
Yeah, Timberwolves. Okay, so the Timberwolves could fall because you hear all the
team chemistry.
Chemistry, exactly. So you hear about those things that could happen. It should be noted that I should definitely be checked on this, and should be questioned about this opinion. But a team that you could really see fall is the Portland Trailblazers.
Oh, I thought that's where you're going.
Yeah. So
that's fair.
I mean, because think about it. So, right, this team finishes 3rd, gets swept in the first round.
Yep. Very up and down team.
You're right. And the reason they really got that 3 spot is because they won over 10 games in a row towards the end. And then just stayed the course the rest of the way home. So
they got swept by the Pelicans, who also are now losing Rondo, and they didn't have Cousins for the playoffs, but that could be another team that you could keep an eye on too.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, the Pelicans. I mean, losing Rondo is huge, and yeah, they did it without Cousins, but just the fact that he won't even be there for those regular season games to try to get to the playoffs, like that's a tough blow.
But yeah, go back to the Blazers. Sorry, I cut you off there.
No, yeah, I just think the Blazers are really interesting, man, because in terms of where they're going, because where are they going? They got 2 amazing guards, very very good guards in the league. But like, where's the improvement been? You know what I mean?
Yeah, like I know what you mean.
I don't.
And they lost. I think Nurkic is a free agent right now too.
Yeah, I think you're right. And yeah, so I mean, and he's good. He is good. He can play. So.
Yeah. So that'd be a big loss.
Yeah, it would be. I mean, Trailblazers could fall. I don't know. I think the Lakers. I think if you look at it, I think the Lakers could be. So they're not gonna beat the Warriors. They probably won't beat the Rockets.
Please don't disrespect the Jazz.
No. See, I don't know. They're. I mean, I don't know. It's close. I think the Jazz are really good. I still think they're still pretty young, so that could be something to look at. But no, the Jazz are really good. They're the real deal. Donovan Mitchell is very good. Rudy Gobert is sensational.
Yep.
Didn't Rudy Gobert just win Defensive Player of the Year?
I believe he did.
Yeah, I mean,
well deserved.
Yeah, very much so.
I would have actually voted Al Horford, which is outside the box a little bit. But
yeah. Well, he brings a lot to the table that people don't see.
Yeah, exactly.
I think if the Lakers finish 4th in the West, that would be awesome. I think that'd be great.
Okay, so let me ask you, Parker. So far, free agency winners and losers. Anyone come to mind? I know I have a winner in mind.
Oh yeah, well, I mean, listen, the winner is the Los Angeles Lakers.
Okay, well, other than the Lakers.
The Lakers won, no doubt. But, I mean, it's hard to say the Warriors didn't win because and here's why I say that. Because not only did they sign DeMarcus Cousins, but they pulled the air out of, like, all the air out of the balloon that is the NBA. Like, you had players reacting all over Twitter.
Oh, man.
Just devastated and like, what is going on? And like, they did what? And it's just, I mean, it's hard to not say the Warriors win just by signing. They signed DeMarcus Cousins for like 5.6.
Unbelievable.
Like what?
Yeah.
So I mean, there have been other signings and trades and things and all that, and you think about the draft and what people did, and those things add, but it would hard to say a winner is not the Lakers or the Warriors.
Okay, well, outside of that, is there anyone? Well, I can tell you mine.
Sure, go for it.
How about the Pacers?
Yeah, they made some moves.
They got Dougie McBuckets, so they got some more shooters.
Tyreek.
Yep, Tyreek Evans. They brought back Bogdanovich, and they also, there was another guy. Oh, Kyle O'Quinn.
Yeah, he's decent.
Yeah, I like that. I like that rotation.
I do too. Go ahead.
I thought they were going to make a play for Marcus Smart. He seemed like the logical replacement to Lance Stevenson.
Yeah. Honestly, except maybe it's just a little more
better.
safe.
Yeah.
Better and more safe. I love Marcus Smart actually.
He's great.
Ever since Oklahoma State, he always had a rough and rugged game.
Yep.
I think that's fair. I mean, it's hard to say that they were winners over the Lakers, the Warriors, but
right,
no,
yeah.
But no, you're right. And they definitely they made moves. I think it is. Actually, you know what? You want to know? It's kind of funny, Jack. The and you've had Jordan on the podcast a couple of times. I've reached out to him on Twitter a couple of times because of the two signings they made. Like, I think today they signed Zaza Pachulia, and then previously they signed some other guy that was just like so vanilla. And I was like, these are the moves you've been looking for. Yeah, these are the ones you wanted.
Are you saying that his skin tone resembled vanilla? Or his game?
I'm gonna go with game. I'm gonna go both, but I mean, yeah, I don't know. It's like, who do you want, Zaza Pachulia or LeBron James Jr.? give me Bronny. I'm just kidding. But yeah.
Yeah, by the way, for those who don't know, Jordan Morandini did the baseball podcast and is a big Pistons fan.
Very much, yeah. Yeah, and I think if we're talking about losers, it's obvious, right? The Cleveland Cavaliers are the loser of free agency. But at the same time, though, like they're the loser of free agency, but like they didn't really lose anything with LeBron James. Like he did what he said he would do.
Yeah.
And he gave Cleveland a title, which never happened. Yeah. And just that whole city in general. So, but I mean, yeah, obviously for this round of free agency, they are the losers.
I can't feel bad for Cleveland fans because, I mean, they did that whole Believeland 30 for 30. Did you see that?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So the whole thing struck me as a little like, yeah, everyone should feel bad for us. And I'm like, they left out the point that all these people from Cleveland are Ohio State fans. At least a lot of them.
That's true.
One of the greatest college football programs of all time. And they got, 12 years of LeBron James?
Yeah, it's a long time.
Or how many?
Oh no, it was 7, right? The first 10 year.
Yep.
And then
4, so 11.
Yeah, 11.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, yeah, well, that's true. That's a good point. I mean, granted, it's not a quote professional sports team, but it is. It's high profile. Cavs were, they had one target, they missed out on the target. Now Kevin Love's their best player. Like.
Yeah, where does Cleveland go from here? They got to blow the whole thing up, right?
Colin Sexton, man, that guy, he's next. I don't know. They definitely need a restart. They need to hit the restart button.
Gotta love Colin Sexton. Parker, who'd you like out of this draft? Just give me a few names.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I love Colin Sexton. He's his quote about being the most competitive player in the draft. I think that speaks a lot just to character and stuff. So I thought that was really cool. I like what I go back and forth, but today anyway, I like what the Lakers did with signing Mo Wagner. I thought that was pretty smart. It just, for where they were in the draft. So that was cool.
Yeah, I like Wagner.
I think that the Holiday brother that went like super late for where he was projected.
Holiday.
Yeah, I feel like that was smart just because
great pick.
It was so low for him and everything. And then you look at I don't know about the Hawks, man. Training up to 3 to get Trae Young, like I just don't know about that. But I know I saw Mikal Bridges looked pretty good in summer league recently. You know who?
It was the Mavs that traded up for Trae Young, right? Or no, wait.
No, they traded up for Doncic. I mean, they got Doncic.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So the Hawks traded down and picked him. Just clarifying.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. My bad.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was that. Doncic is going to be interesting to watch. Obviously, you can point to Ayton as being really, really interesting. Bridges, I said, was good. Oh yeah. Kevin Knox.
Yes.
Kevin Knox
Kentucky.
in Summer League. Like, I was watching this dude and I was amazed. I was like, "What? I didn't know about this. Like, I didn't know he had that in him."
Yeah.
So he could end up, excuse me, he could end up really, really a solid player, and especially in a market like New York, that could be fun.
Yeah, could be. All right, last bit of NBA talk. So you saw the Bulls.
Yes.
Okay, so yeah, the Kings put in an offer sheet. Zach LaVine, I believe it was 4 years, $80 million. Bulls matched it. What do you think?
Yeah, man, for a dude that just came off an ACL, like, that's a lot of money. But
it is.
Also, Zach LaVine's a really good player, and he flies higher than most dudes in the league. He is very athletic. He's improved shooting. He played on a Timberwolves team that had decent players at the time. So it's tough to gauge at this point. He's still fresh off injury, and he's a good player. So who knows?
Well, I think that I saw a lot of Bulls fans upset about this.
Yeah.
But here's my thing is, when is the Bulls front? Everyone's like, well, we got to save that money for next offseason so he can sign all these big-time free agents. So it's like, when's the last time a hot-button free agent has picked the Bulls? Carlos Boozer?
That's true.
Ben Wallace?
True. Yeah.
So I don't think that was horrible. I mean, NBA contracts don't make a whole lot of sense. And
yeah.
I think
a lot of money.
Yeah, and this isn't like baseball where Jason Hayward signs an 8-year deal, 20 a year. I mean, this is just a 4-year contract, so it's not the end of the world. I like that they took the risk on LaVine, and he was a big piece they traded. He was a big part of that Jimmy Butler trade, and I would have hated for them to lose him for nothing.
Yeah, no, I mean, and also, as you watched that young core last year, like it looked kind of promising, right?
Yeah.
It was, you think about him, Chris Dunn, Markkanen.
Yep.
It looked pretty decent, and it looked like with time and maybe adding, another solid player like that.
Yeah, another lottery pick.
Right, like a fun playoff team.
Yeah.
And, like look at the Bucks this year, right?
Yep.
It's kind of what they did.
Yep.
They just kind of built up the pieces, signed some guys here and there, and suddenly they're this fun team that people want to root for. So.
Yeah. That is a bandwagon for, like...
Yeah.
It's funny. I feel like people have these cute bandwagon teams that they like, but it's acceptable to root for them. And it's almost an even bigger bandwagon to hate on the teams like the Warriors. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I think at this point, everyone in the league pretty much dislikes the Warriors. No
That's
secret
safe to
there.
say. No.
All right, Parker, I want to talk about your experience with American Ninja Warrior. I mean, it's a show that's been a big part of your life for a long time. You finally got to compete on it last year. How did you get drawn into the show, first off?
Yeah, man. So when I first started, I watched the show with my family. They got me into it, and they were always like, Parker, you could do this. Like, I bet you could do the things these dudes are doing. And I'm like, yeah, probably, naive me. Like, like, yeah, I could do all that. Like, but so yeah, it was always kind of like it was in the very back of my mind because when I first started watching the show, I was still thinking about other sports and I was thinking about school and all this stuff. But then I decided a couple of summers ago, I was like, my entire life I've always wanted to be, an athlete, and even in college I wanted to be an athlete. Like freshman year, I wanted to walk on to Valpo's golf team.
Wow.
But I was an engineer and I was not good at engineering, so that took up all my time, and I never had that chance. And also my parents didn't think it was a good idea for me to take my clubs to college because they thought that's all I would be doing, and they probably would have been right.
It's an easy way to waste money too.
Yes, very much so. So I probably would have been at the range a lot and on the playing green, but so that didn't happen. But I was like, I'm watching some of these people compete, and I'm like, well, no, this is my opportunity. This is where I could be a professional athlete if I really put in the work. And let's be clear, I'm not yet. I don't get paid for this stuff. I'm training every day, like really hard to try to get to that point, but it's so much work that goes into it. The top dudes in the sport are dudes that have been doing it for 8+ years. So, but yeah, I always watched the show, and then a couple of summers ago, I think it was the summer of 15. Was it? No, 16. My bad. It was it was after I graduated. It was the summer after I graduated. I started training, and I just dove in head first. Like, I followed countless people on Instagram. I watched numerous YouTube videos, and I was just 100% everything I got, go for it. And I mean, I'm telling you, Jack, I was doing things like I would log. I had an Excel spreadsheet logging the amount of hours of film I watched.
Wow.
Of Ninja Warriors. Like, and I'm not talking about just the show. Like, I'm talking about submission videos on YouTube and how people did it and who were successful and who wasn't. I'm talking about Instagram clips. I'm talking about a series on YouTube called Ninja versus Ninja with Evan Dollard. I mean, like Team Ninja Warrior, American Ninja Warrior. I was watching so much film. It was ridiculous, and trying to learn how these people did it, because we don't have, Valpo didn't have a ninja gym. It was there's the closest one is an hour and a half away. So I had to just go to parks and go to.
All right, explain what's a ninja gym to those who are wondering.
Oh yeah, good call.
I was like, I'm thinking, whoa, ninja gyms. That sounds pretty sick. I mean, I know I've heard you talk about them before, but I'm sure a lot of people are wondering what exactly that is.
Yeah, for sure. So a ninja gym is you take the show American Ninja Warrior, and you think about all the obstacles that are on there. Basically, what people have done around the country is they've taken all the obstacles from all the seasons. It's been 10 seasons, and this is the 10th season, and they just take the obstacles from the show, and then they add on to them in these gyms, and it's just this this big space, and sometimes small spaces, but for the most part, the gyms are pretty decently sized, and they just have all these gyms. You got your warped wall, your salmon ladder, you have the quintuple steps, you have the double steps, all those things that you think about when you think Ninja Warrior. They're all incorporated, and the people that are gym owners, they find ways to add on to the obstacles to make them even harder than the show. The local competitions are harder than the show, and the show's hard because there's only been 2 people that have ever completed the whole course, and there's only been all the stages of the finals, and there's only been 1 grand champion. So obviously that's hard, but the local competitions, they make even harder sometimes. So I mean, these gyms are very extensive, but yeah, so the closest ninja gym to Valpo was an hour and a half away. So I'm just training on playgrounds and parks, and watching film and doing everything in my power and everything I can to try to be able to get to a spot where I can compete with these guys, even though I've never been on obstacles. I was able to go to a ninja gym 3 times before I went on the show. And I think that definitely that played a part in the result of my run. But I worked relentlessly hard on trying to be ready, and doing things like creating a soundtrack of crowd ambiance and crowd noise to have on my iPod to play in my headphones while I train, so that I wouldn't get flustered by the moment.
Wow, that's a great idea.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I was working really hard, and when I go for something, I don't want there to be a reason that I didn't accomplish what I set out to accomplish, except for like physical limitations or any of that. I want to be ready for what it is that I have coming at me, and so I did everything in my power to try to be ready. The stage is just a little bit bigger and a little bit brighter than you can even prepare for.
So what happens next then? So I know you had to send in an audition tape. Did they interview you at all, or did they basically bring you out for a tryout?
Oh yeah, yeah. The process of the show, coolest thing in the world. Like, I mean, so incredibly awesome, because you legitimately feel like they make you feel like a star. It's amazing. Now, you get the call. Oh my gosh, you get the call. Holy cow, that was so fun. March 16th, 1:49 p.m. That was when I got mine. And
you probably have like a screenshot of that frame
absolutely.
Somewhere in your house.
Not framed, but I have the screenshot saved of the call. Yeah, I remember. So yeah, man, that was just such a crazy day. I called so many people that day, and I remember talking to the producer and him telling me all this stuff, and I'm like rushing to type these things on my computer, because knowing darn well that I'm going to forget everything that this man says in like 2 seconds, because I'm just so, adrenaline is so high, and I'm so just amazed by life at that point. But yeah, so that happens, and then it was just crazy, the process, after that. I mean, you have interviews with story producers. You have to fill out over 50 pages of paperwork. You have to sign a bunch of things. You got to get people to sign things. If you had other people that were in your submission video, you have to have them sign things.
Wow.
But it was so fun, and this, the conversations I'd have with the story producer was awesome, because they wanted, my story was based around me and my granddad's relationship, and they were just really into that. And so for them to, want to know all this just about my regular life and everything that genuinely happens, it was really cool, and it was cool to be able to explain it. And then from that point, I was lucky. They gave me a little over a month to prepare, and because sometimes you only get like 3 weeks or 2.5. So they gave me a call with over a month to spare, and that was good for training. And then I fly out, and it's just the 3 days, man, it is so cool, because the first day is a day for all the fun camera shots, and me, a videographer, like,
yeah,
this was amazing to experience behind the scenes, just from that, like, a technical and video aspect. Like, I was seeing these cameras these dudes were using, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is why I need to make more money, so I can buy these. So, but yeah, it was like, so we did things called hero footage, where they take video of you in physically imposing positions, with your props that you have. Like, for me, it was a plaque of my granddad and a baseball. So there was that, and then they did action stuff where I had to showcase some parkour moves and jump over people and jump off blocks and stuff, and so that was cool. And then they had the interview portion, which that when you get to the interview portion, like that's when you really feel like, oh my gosh, this is really a TV show.
Yeah.
Like they really are trying to make you a star if you pan out, because they sit you down. It's you and the interviewer. There's people in the background. There's huge lights, ready, taking notes, marking things down, all this stuff, and they're just asking you all about your life again. It's basically like what you did previously, but this time it's on a camera, and that was just awesome. And then the next day it's go time, and you wait a long time.
Yeah.
You get, there's I think we got there. When did we get there? At 6 p.m. and like runs. I don't think runs started until like 9, maybe 8. But they had to do all that for paperwork and everything, and then the night goes into 3, 4 a.m., something like that. But yeah, and then next thing you know, you're running the course, and it's go time.
That sounds like a really amazing experience. I'm glad you were able to take a lot of positives out of that.
Totally.
But I know when you went out there, it didn't exactly go the way you had planned and you had hoped for. So what was it like in terms of, I know it may have been really hard for you, but how are you able to bounce back from that? And what was that feeling like initially, and how did it get better?
Yeah, man, that was really, it was tough. It was real tough. I fell on the second obstacle. And the hardest part about that was it was not because of a strength thing. It was because of of technical, It was like I approached the obstacle incorrectly. And, that moment is, it's nuts, because, so the indication was that I was going to be, if I did well enough, featured on the show. And I haven't told a lot of people this. But the lady that did my story emailed me and said, hey, listen, if you go far enough, there's a very, very high chance that your story will be profiled on NBC. And
in which I'm going to just throw in here, for those who don't know, they shoot a lot of ninjas, right? And not everyone makes it on the TV. Yeah,
like 120 were in Kansas City.
Wow.
I was like 30th. And so...
Did that add to the pressure at all?
Oh, no doubt. Yeah, absolutely. Like I tried to kind of suppress it like it didn't, but yeah, no doubt. Just the fact that, you have that hanging over your head is... It's really big, but and I felt great. Like, don't get me wrong, like I felt great the entire time. And then when I walked up, man, this is what did it. I walked up there, I got to the starting line, I saw everything. I was still really excited and super hyped up. And then they turn on this huge monitor to the right of you. It's huge. I mean, it's like the size of houses huge, and
Cowboy Stadium big, basically.
Like yes, huge, and it's your face.
Oh my gosh!
They just zoomed in on you.
No!
And that I was cool. I was feeling great. All my mental preparation, everything I thought was working, and then that happened, and then just like I don't know if you can hear that, but I just snapped.
Yeah, I did.
But then it just hit, and I was like, oh my gosh. And I made it through the floating steps. No problem. I was still a little nervous though. And then that happened. And here's the craziest part, because they knew they wanted to feature me and everything and all that. When I was in trouble on the second obstacle, the entire crowd and everybody in the area was chanting my name. And so to then fall
Oh,
on that
man.
obstacle. I mean, I've never had a whole like stadium or area chant my name for. Like that was crazy. It was
Yeah.
awesome, and I barely
Yeah.
remember it because I was so, my brain was everywhere. But it was crazy, and so then you fall and you hit the water, and they throw you that Palm Wonderful towel, which I still have, by the way. It's actually
Oh,
hanging
great.
in my room, and I shower with it every day to remind me. Um, yeah, it's a constant reminder. So, but yeah, it's a crazy feeling, and especially when you have like 11 family members that make the trip. Uh,
Yeah.
and so I just went back to the hotel after that and lifted and screamed for like like 2 hours, and eventually went to bed but didn't go to bed. And so it was a lot, but I mean, all that story, and it's a lot, but I really do only think about nowadays. I really only think about the positives from that trip. So it was great.
Yeah. So, what positives were you able to take away from that and incorporate into your life? And in terms of bouncing back from that, did it take a while? Are you still, is that something that still racks your brain sometimes and you think about that? Are you trying to get back into it?
Yeah, no, absolutely. So I mean, absolutely. I don't think about it as much as I used to, but it still comes up once in a while. Like when I watch the show in season this year, I think like that could have been, and like I think about the
Yeah.
opportunity and just how everything unfolded, and it was I do think about it every now and again, but I try not to think about it as much as I try to think about the future and the potential I still have in this sport. I am still training. I have a ninja gym in Orlando now that I am a member at, so huge advantage over previous training. Um, but yeah, man, I think, in terms of just the positives and everything that came out of it, like I met so many great people. I got to experience an atmosphere where the people were genuinely interested just in you as a human, and your happiness and all this, and it was just such a positive vibe, and it just, you felt so good about everything that was happening. It's like there really is a lot of good in this world. We get caught up in so much stuff, so much negativity, especially on social media and everything and all that, and it's just like there's so much good out there. And when I fell, man, my brain was thinking rage, but everyone that I walked by, towel in my mouth, just clenching it with my teeth like Kobe, like, like everyone was just trying to give me positive word. And like, I wasn't having it at the time because I was just pissed, but I don't know if I can say that,
No,
but,
you're fine. Yeah, you can say
okay.
that.
But it was just like, it's such a positive community. And I didn't train after that for about 3 months, but then I got back into it, and I had met so many great people from that. And it just gave me a reason to keep going. And, that's really, in terms of like, so this, I'm a very strong Christian,
Yeah.
and I grew up Lutheran, and I really do be praying a lot and talk to God a lot. And so I was just, leading up to that, I was just so in awe that God had put me in a situation to like partake in a dream and turn it into a reality. Like that whole, even the training leading up to the show, I would say was almost as fun as the show, because it was like as close to the Lord that I had ever been, because I was just like, really seeing things move
Wow.
in my life. And so that was such a huge positive. And the whole time I was just thinking, this opportunity just came because you gave it. So thank you. And like, just, I don't know why I was lucky enough to have this opportunity, but whatever happens is for a plan. And now as I kind of see things play out, if I would have done well on Ninja Warrior, it's so funny, like looking back at things and seeing how everything goes. Like, if I would have done well on Ninja Warrior, my summer would have been taken up, and I would have never got an internship at University of Notre Dame, and then I would have
Play like a champion.
yeah. Well, so I got that internship. There was a summer internship, then that turned into a year internship, which turned into me learning more than I ever could have ever imagined about video, which turned into me getting paid and then getting paid more and then building relationships. So it's just like you think about that all as a whole instead of one moment that you key in on, right? Like so often we just key in on these tiny little negatives, or these things that are just so small in the grand scheme. If you think of the grand scheme, so much positive came out of me falling on the second obstacle of that show that it's just like all I can do is like look up and be like, thank you. And that's that.
Yeah. Thank you so much for opening up about that. I really appreciate that.
No,
and
yeah,
I think your story is relatable, and anyone could, I mean, it sounds cliche, but God really does work in weird ways. Like for me,
no, yeah, it's true.
For me, some who might not know, I was diagnosed with a thyroid disease my senior year of college, and I'm basically doing this as a hobby, and I have a couple of part-time things I'm working on, but I'm not able to really search the job market the way I'd hoped to once I graduated. But as you mentioned, like that has brought me into so much prayer and being in the Word, and God really bringing a lot of joy and happiness into my life because I'm forced to really rely on Him in those times. So
yeah, I would like to say, for everything that you've had to endure over the last few years, like, I mean, to be positive in the way that you are and still be very happy and continue with doing the things you love, everything, Jack. I mean, it's inspiring. So, you're doing great things, and I'm so happy for you and everything that you've accomplished to this point.
Thanks a ton, Parker. I really do appreciate that. That's very kind of you.
Yeah, you got it, man. Absolutely.
So, is there anything else you want to throw in there on the subject or the Ninja, or do you want to get into the YouTube plug?
Yeah, I mean, we can. Yeah, I will say before I plug real quick, just sticking along the lines of motivation and inspiration and all those kinds of things. I'll preface this with what my granddad always told me growing up, and that's, you never have to listen to anything I say, but I'm going to tell you what worked. So I'm just going to tell you what works. There are a couple of qualities that have remained constant in my life. There are three, and are the keys in my opinion to why I've been able to not only succeed in all the fields that I've set out on journeys with, but also been able to maintain a very high quality of life in that time. One is simple, and it's my slogan on my YouTube channel, which is, I like to have fun.
Yep.
I that's how I approach each day. I like how can I have fun today? How can I make today interesting and enjoyable, and so that my life stays at a high quality? And what can I do to just make everything feel great? And so that's number one. Number two, I used to say it a lot more. I should say it more now, but I always think about it. And that's just to love life and to help others love life. And, it's because it starts, you can't help others love life if you don't love yours. Right. So, I mean, like, you can, but it's just harder.
Yeah.
And so, you gotta just be thankful for this thing, man, that we've got, and love everything about your life. Like, there may be certain aspects of your life that you don't really enjoy. Like, you might be at a job that you don't like, but if you find ways to flip that around into a positive and be like, oh my gosh, I have a job. Like, that's crazy. That's awesome. So many people don't. And like, I get to talk with actual people. I get to converse with real people. Like those kind of things. If you can love your life, and then here's the thing. If you love your life, people will feed off you because they'll see how much you love life, and they'll want that. They'll be like, what does this person have that makes this thing that we're all doing so enjoyable? And they'll see that, and they'll want it, and then it's just your job to share it with them.
Yeah, contagious.
Right. So love your life. That's number 2, and then number 3, and we already touched on it a little bit, but I really, really believe that God has a plan and a purpose for everything, and you see that over the course of time. In the moment, you're not going to see it because, there's just so many elements of the plan and the journey that He has mapped out. But if you just trust that plan and trust the process that is God's plan, you're going to be okay. And stay prayed up, keep the faith, and you'll be all right.
Yeah. Amen. I'm with you on all 3 of those. Great stuff there, Parker. And I also love how you throw in there that you like to have fun and you're a Christian, because a lot of people think you're a Christian, so you don't like to have fun, but you can do both.
Sure. Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, man. I'm telling you, man, every day is what you make of it. And for me, I just like making every day different than the next and having fun.
All right, let's get this YouTube. All right, so if you haven't, you need to check out Parker's YouTube channel, and I'll let you talk a little bit about what you do on there.
I got you. Yeah, no doubt. So before I talk about the YouTube channel real quick, I'll just quick plug. Facebook, you can find me, Parker Gatewood.
Oh, yeah.
And Twitter and Instagram, Parker B. Gatewood is the @, at Parker B. Gatewood. So, all right, that's done.
Yeah, and I'll include those in the blog post as well.
Sweet. Thanks, man.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
No problem.
Yeah, but in terms of YouTube, look, if you're looking to find more inspiration, find more motivation, and just have more fun, I would love it if you would be part of the community that has joined and subscribed to my YouTube channel. I am Parker Gatewood, and I like to have fun, and I just, a lot of my videos are either general random fun, or they're motivation and inspiration and talking in a way, just sharing tricks and tips of my life philosophy, which I just dropped a video, by the way, about my granddad, who is the person who pretty much molded and shaped my life philosophy.
Great video.
So, thank you.
Very powerful.
Yeah, it was a lot of emotion in that one. That was different. The channel is very fun, I promise. But this last video was just, it was from the heart. So, but yeah, I mean, look, if you want someone to feel like if this person is helping you be more motivated, and someone who maybe could help you increase your quality of life, I would love to do that for you. And if, it starts with you watching my videos and it turns into you reaching out through social media and asking questions or saying how it's helped, I'm all for it. I will respond. I've had people hit me up in the DMs and say, hey, I watched your video and it helped me make, insert huge life decision here. And I never thought I would get those messages. So the fact that I did was just a blessing, and I'm glad that I could help people in that way. So if you're looking for that, I'd love to help. I'd love to help be that service. And Parker Gatewood on YouTube. Feel free to subscribe. I won't be hurt if you don't. It's all good. We all got life. So, but I do wish the best for you, whoever you are, and I do genuinely care about your life.
Yeah, if you guys are listening and you like what we've been talking about here on the real life stuff here, there's a lot of good stuff there with the YouTube channel. You do go in deep. You do have fun. And one thing I really like about your videos is the internet, it's no secret, is a cynical place.
Sure.
So to bring that positive energy and excitement, I know a lot of people appreciate it.
I appreciate that, Jack. Thanks so much for being a loyal subscriber. Yeah.
Thanks for supporting the podcast coming on. I really appreciate this, Parker.
Absolutely. I can't wait to share this one with everybody.
All right. So real quick, you want to throw that Twitter handle out there one more time?
Yeah. Twitter and Instagram. I'm at Parker B. Gatewood. I'll be honest, I'm less active on Twitter. I'm very active on Instagram. If you want a lot of the fun stuff and you want you want those things, go to Instagram. That's the social media that's popping. But Facebook gets more interaction, I think, than Instagram. It's close, but Facebook and Instagram are my go-tos. But yeah.
Also, fun ninja stuff there too. So
yes. We like the ninja.
All right. Well, thanks a ton, Parker. I really appreciate you coming on today. This is a lot of fun.
I appreciate it so much, Jack. It's been great to catch up and talk, and just thanks so much. And I really appreciate what you're doing.
Thanks. Yeah, hopefully we'll do it again.
You got it, man. Anytime.
All right, so there you guys have it. Parker Gatewood coming on the podcast. Had a great time talking and having him open up about his experience and his journey with American Ninja Warrior, talking about his faith. Big ups to him for being so open with us. It was a lot of fun to get a glimpse of that journey because I know he hasn't shared much of that with many people yet. And also, hello to all the Valpo friends of ours who are listening, who came here to listen to Parker's story. So, yeah, lots of fun here. I really enjoyed this podcast. It was fun going to the NBA action. Coming up later this week, I should have a baseball podcast out with possibly Jordan Morandini, MLB All-Star stuff. And if you want to follow Press On Sports on iTunes or wherever you get your podcasts, go ahead and do so. Subscribe to the podcast, and you will never miss an episode. You'll always know when there's an episode available. It'll show up in your podcast app. I know not everyone uses iTunes. There have been some questions of where else is it? Is it on Stitcher? Is it on Pocket or Podbean? Whatever. It's in all places except SoundCloud, not on SoundCloud, and it is on Spotify. So go ahead and subscribe, and you will never miss an episode. Lots of fun here on the podcast today. Thank you all for listening. I hope you enjoyed this podcast. Other than that, I'm good for now. Bring in the Dancing Lobsters.